you'll see from the group is a committed group. A group that when you watch play will both entertain you, but you'll be proud for how they're working for each other and working for the city of Chicago. I consider the Chicago Fire a sleeping giant.
Hey, what's up? It is Gabe Ramirez, and welcome back to Inside the Fire. This is where we slow things down a bit and take an in-depth look at your team, Chicago Fire FC. So in this episode, we'll revisit two big matchups against Nashville SC and Orlando City SC. Then later on, I'll sit down with Chicago Fire Foundation Executive Director Jessica Yavitz to talk about the incredible work the club is doing off the field. And we'll also check in with one of the newest faces on the back line, Sam Rogers. Now, it's not just the players making an impact for the Chicago Fire. The front office is out here doing their part as well, volunteering off the pitch at a farm. Now, I would have been there, but the way my neck and my back are set up, luckily, the team picked up my slack. So here's a look at the Fire family putting in work at Navarro Farm in Frankfort, Illinois.
Today, the Chicago Fire front office is here at Navarro Farm for our Earth Day service project for the Beacon program.
Navarro Farm is a farm for special needs individuals. It gives them a place to come, to socialize, to work, to have a purpose. And it's so nice to have Chicago Fire here help because every year, after the winter, you have all this stuff that needs to be freshened up. So we cleaned out the chicken coop. We also had groups staining, doing clear coats on everything, making everything fresh and new. We also did some scraping of some old paint. And we have a group removing hay and composting. It's all about inclusion, reaching out to the community, giving our farmers a face, giving them a purpose, including just the community being more aware of what they go through, just partnering with them.
As a club, it's so important that we're giving back to the community. And the fact that we have nearly our entire office out here today, close to 100 people that are taking time out of the busy workday to give back to the community that we are so passionate and care about. To also tie it in with Earth Day is incredible. The passion that the club has, our organization, our corporate partners, our front office, our first team, extends way beyond everything we do on the pitch to being able to do amazing projects like this throughout the year.
Man, what a special place, and how cool is it to see the Fire family out there making a real difference. And speaking of making a difference, this next guy has made a big one since joining the squad, but what did the journey look like along the way? Here's a closer look at Chicago Fire defender, Sam Rogers.
Samuel Rogers, center back from Seattle, Washington. When I started playing, I believe it was around 8, maybe 9, something around then. I don't think I always knew that I wanted to be a professional from that age. I think in the beginning, like I said, it was more just fun. But when I became more passionate about it, that's when I was thinking that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a professional, but you don't always see it as so realistic. Yeah, I think being in Seattle, Tacoma, being a part of that group from an early age, as a teenager, it gives you a good taste of what it's like to start being a pro, and it gave me that opportunity to see what it's like to actually be a full-time pro and come in the morning and train. I got an opportunity in Oklahoma, was there for a few months, and I got an opportunity in the summer to go to Norway. I didn't even hesitate when I said yes, because when I was a young player, my goal was always to play in Europe. That was always my goal and dream. So when that opportunity came, I said yes. I always wanted to play in the MLS. I love playing here and I love being here. It's funny in football, timing's everything. The timing worked out now where I was able to come back now. I've loved every second of it.
Toronto, Yo-Yo, Cholo, it don't matter, Lakers in 5.
The team's great. I gotta say, this is one of the, if it's not the best, it's very up there with like best group of teammates I've ever had. The locker room's great. The guys are all super nice, friendly, and the staff does a great job integrating everyone together. I think it helps with the end goal. You know, like we all want to win championships and win games, but that foundation has to be solid in order to make it there, especially in those moments where things aren't going our way. That's what we need. We don't need discouragement. We need guys, you know, feeling good about what we're trying to do. So for me, that's all I try to do in training and matches. I just try to get the group positive as possible. And because I know when I see that from another guy, if I see him, you know, trying to get everyone going, it pushes me. So I just try to help be part of the solution.
If there's anyone on this team that survived, it is definitely Sam. He's been a great addition to that back line. And the Fire, we're gonna need that kind of presence against their next opponent. So let's take an inside look at how the team prepared and how things played out on the road against Nashville SC.
I feel like throughout these games we're in it, and I think it's mostly off our mistakes and those little mistakes, mentally unaware, unfocused. And I think we have to be 90 minutes all focused in our defensive display. And I think we know we could create chances every game. We have the quality in the team to do that. And I think if we focus on not trying to get scored on and keeping a clean sheet, creating those chances, we will win the game.
For us, it's really about just building on performances. You know, it is early. You know, we have, you know, a decent amount of points. We'd want more points based on some of the performances. Some performances we weren't so happy with. But for us, it's really just continuing to build, you know, for the group to get confidence in who they are, how we can play, how we can hurt teams. You know, I know this is a team that can hurt other opponents. And, you know, for us, it is about getting some continuity, playing together, and then continuing to build.
Master and apprentice coming together tonight. Greg Berhalter, who was BJ Callahan's boss at the US men's national team. Quite a reunion on the touchline. We'll talk about that throughout tonight's match. Two teams who missed the postseason, targeting the playoffs this time around, and we are off and away in Music City. And with that, it's all over. It's a Super 7 on the night from Nashville SC. The biggest ever win in Major League Soccer. BJ Callahan takes the plaudits in the battle against Berhalter. An unforgettable night at Geodis Park.
You know, I think the first thing is apologizing to the fans that took the time out of their day to watch that game. Some of them perhaps traveled to the game. Apology to the owner for putting up a performance like this, you know, that doesn't represent who we are. And it was a very, very poor performance, and we deserve to lose the way we did. The way I'm looking at this is we're going to learn a lot about ourselves this week. But today was, you know, an absolute disaster and a very, very poor performance.
They say in sports, you gotta have a short memory, and we are gonna do just that. All right, coming up, I sit down with Fire Foundation Executive Director Jessica Yavitz to talk about the team's work off the pitch, and a very special guest drops by to ask the fellas some hard-hitting questions. More Inside the Fire coming up next. Welcome back to Inside the Fire, and listen, it's one thing to show up and cheer for the team on match day. That's cool. But what the Fire are doing in the community, that deserves just as much attention. So I sat down with Jessica Yavitz to learn more about the impact the Fire Foundation is having across the city. All right, typically we are showing you guys what happens on the pitch, but today we get the opportunity to talk about what happens off. And to do that, we have our guest, Jessica Yavitz, the Vice President of Community Relations, also the Executive Director of the PLACE program, or the Chicago Fire Foundation, I should say. But we are gonna get into the PLACE program in just a minute. First, tell me, what does PLACE stand for?
So PLACE stands for Participate, Learn, Achieve Youth Soccer.
Okay, and this is something, this PLACE program, for people that are just hearing about it for the first time, this is something that kids can get involved with, right? 3rd through 5th graders, but where can they get involved at?
Yeah, so it was always important to us as an organization that we were being able to provide access and opportunity to the sport of soccer throughout the city, especially to those under-resourced communities. So in 2012, we came up with the idea and officially launched in 2013. the Plays program presented by Meridian, and we're currently running in 60 Chicago public schools, primarily on the south and west side of the city. Schools that are interested can reach out. We are always investigating new schools. We always want to provide this opportunity to even more youth. We currently run 10 weeks in the spring of each year, 5 out-of-school hours a week for these kids to engage in the program and play.
Why was it important, for the Chicago Fire themselves to be involved in the community and use this as the vessel in order to do that?
The commitment of our owner and the club and organization has always been to give back to the city. We really pride ourselves on the fact that we do the things that we're going to say we're going to do and be engaged and be able to have everyone enjoy the world's game and get to play and participate and have access to opportunities, physical, the social and emotional component, the mental health and well-being awareness of plays to really help improve the greater life chances of our community.
That's so cool, man. I went to Chicago public schools myself, and like these kind of things when I was in school back in the day weren't available. But you think about it, right? Exposure to soccer, right? The ability to get these other assets to learn and help you build as a person. I know you've seen a lot of that firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, you didn't have that opportunity. There's a lot of these schools that don't have the opportunity, and we saw that need, especially starting in 3rd grade, to be able to give back, because many of the schools start sports programming in middle school. And the fact that we were able to engage them at an earlier age, which is also better for them because it provides them the opportunity to start engaging in that stuff and having that access and being able to play the game and showcase, and those traits are then brought home and affects the community, their neighborhoods, their families as well.
And it gives them confidence to express themselves, which is something that you guys are giving them the opportunity to do, right? I know we have a big match coming up May 10th. It's Family Day. But tell me how Plays and the Chicago Fire are combining to make that day extra special.
Each year as part of the program, we invite all the Plays students, so we have nearly 1,500 youth in our program, the opportunity to come out to a fire match. For many of these kids, this will be the first opportunity that they will ever be at Soldier Field. It might be the only opportunity. We pay for busing, we pay for food, and we will bring all the youth out to the match. And they will all be sitting together, wearing their play shirts, cheering on the fire. And many don't even leave their communities. And the fact that we get to bring them out, and what's even more exciting is it's Family Day, it's an afternoon game, so just even more excitement and having them be able to come out is extremely exciting.
And some of them might be able to see some of their artwork on some of those jerseys out there. Is that
yeah,
right?
So every year the foundation does a commemorative jersey auction. And we thought, what better way to showcase the impact, what we're doing, and let the voices of our youth shine than to be able to let them talk about what soccer means to them. So we put an ask out to all nearly 1,500 of these youth and said, draw images of what soccer and the Chicago Fire mean to you. We took these images, our graphics team, amazing individuals, and a shout out to Sarah who put this together because it's legitimately incredible. It's probably one of the best commemorative jerseys we've done, and we have designs from more than 30 of these youth that are all literally transferred onto the name and number plates that the players will be wearing on their red home kits on the match on Saturday. And these jerseys are unique and one of a kind, and only the players will have the actual jerseys, and fans can then bid on these jerseys.
That is so cool. I mean, the opportunity to not only participate right as a youth to draw something that ends up on the pitch, but also for you guys at home to take that with you and take advantage of that auction. But you can pick up the shirts as well, right?
The youth shirts are $35, adults are $40. We will have limited edition t-shirts with the same name and number plates that just say CFFC and the number 97 that can be purchased in the fan shop, with a portion of proceeds actually going back to benefit the foundation.
That's very cool. And so talk to me a little bit about, because obviously that's a great way for, people at home or Chicago Fire supporters to help out with the Plays Foundation. I know it means a lot to you. but people can do stuff outside of Saturday, right? If they want to participate or contribute in any way, maybe attending the white party in July, my favorite one to go to. But how can somebody get involved or help out?
Yeah, I mean, well, for starters, as we talked about, the jersey auction's live. People can bid on the jersey, and if you're at the match, you actually get to meet the player whose jersey you won after the game and get it signed and get a photo with that player, which is pretty cool. So, you know, a lot of times you watch a match and you see players trade jerseys with the other teams. Not this game. They got to keep those. They know that because this is going to go to the people who are so generously supporting the foundation, and you can do that by texting the word jersey to 76278 or jersey.givesmart.com. And bid on those now through halftime of the match. As you said, there's a number of other ways to get involved. Volunteer, you know, help with these youth, come out to our game days, give throughout the year at other things. You mentioned our white party, which is July 31st, and actually, surprisingly, tickets will go on sale on Monday. We have a marathon team. You know, we have nearly 50 individuals running the marathon for us this year, and many of our fans know we have our locker room sale every year too, where everyone gets the nice swag and gear and team issued items, and all of those proceeds benefit the foundation, and everything about our programs are on our website.
It's so cool to know that, you know, you can support your team, but you can also support the work that they're doing outside of the pitch, and this is one of the people at the helm. So I appreciate you for sharing the information. And again, guys, don't forget May 10th, you can pick up those jerseys, you can buy the shirts, but again, it all goes to supporting the Chicago Fire Foundation. Jessica, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, things got pretty serious at the Endeavor Health Performance Center when the players had to sit down with someone very important, a highly esteemed reporter known for asking some tough questions.
Hopefully it's easy. Oh, yo. Hello.
Oh, hi, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hi, Sergio. You are way bigger than the first guy I met.
Yeah?
I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Okay, I'm ready. Who's your best friend on the team?
Hello, my name is Zeke. I'm asking questions today.
I'm excited. You got some good questions for me?
What's your favorite food?
What's your favorite food?
I like sushi a lot. Ooh.
I like spicy sushi.
Wow, that's advanced. What about yours?
What?
What's your favorite food? Oh, someone's talking to you. Who's over there?
It's my dad.
Your dad.
Justin, I have a tough question for you.
All right, I'm ready.
Do you like Legos?
Legos?
Yeah.
I love Legos. Do you have a set?
It's like a bigger, it can knock down my roof, bro. You can knock down my roof. Do you like deep dish pizza?
You know, it's been a really long time since I've had deep dish. I have to find a good spot to go to. Do you have one that you recommend in your 4 years of age?
I had pizza yesterday.
You had pizza yesterday?
Yeah. I like eating 1,000 bites.
You like eating 1,000 bites?
Have you ever got a red card?
Yeah, I have gotten a red card.
Oh, he did get a red card.
Yeah, I did. I've had a few.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
My favorite players on the fire team is Brady.
It's not me?
Yeah.
You have a best friend?
Yeah, her name is Pepper.
Pepper?
Like pepperoni. I'm gonna be your biggest fan.
I like that. I like to hear that. I'm gonna be your biggest fan when you make it.
Thank you. Justin, thank you for asking all my questions.
Thank you for having me. Zeke, you did a great job. All right, thank you. See you later.
See you later. Nice seeing you.
All right, I see I'm just keeping this chair warm for Zeke until he's ready to take over. Great job, buddy. But he did remind me that Family Day is coming up. May 10th, Soldier Field, the Chicago Fire are taking on Atlanta United, and the kickoff time, 1:30. Perfect for bringing out the whole crew. There's gonna be activities, food, exclusive merch for Family Day, so make sure you are there. All right, now let's turn our attention to the Fire's latest opponent, Orlando City SC. And what was the game plan? And how did the team respond after losing their goalkeeper mid-match? This is Inside the Fire.
In the end of the day, it's a loss, right? So you have to analyze that. But I guess the bigger picture is, you know, the guys lose a ton of confidence. So it was really just about rebuilding that, you know, talking to the guys about our identity, who we are, really focusing on that. and trying to turn the page. You know, we played a lot of good soccer throughout this year, and we need to move forward. You know, how do we play against a good Orlando team and I think represent ourselves better, because we weren't happy with that.
Obviously, that was a difficult result for everyone. I think we had a couple days to really reflect on the game, reflect individually and then as a group. But yeah, I think the most important thing for us was not doubting what we're doing, knowing that what we've been doing has been going pretty well for us. After having a good couple days of training, I think everyone's ready to get back into the game already and bounce back from the last weekend.
Typical Oscar teams are very good in defensive transition. I think he certainly had an impact for how his teams transition, both offensively and defensively. You know, we all know how important those phases of the game are, but he really puts emphasis into that. So, you know, they're at it again, and they have a talented roster. They're in a good run of form. And, you know, for us, it's another good opportunity. And, you know, that's the way we're looking at it. We think we have a good team also. We know we didn't show it last week, but it will be another opportunity for us.
They've always been a team that we've had good games against, so we expect nothing less this weekend. But I think the major focus this week has been on us, obviously, bouncing back from the game and just like it is every week, just focusing on how we could perfect our game plan and our energy, our intensity going into the game. So I think that's the main focus for us. Just know that the team's going to keep working. This is not how we've been playing or how we've been representing ourselves throughout the beginning of the season. So just let them know that we're going to keep working hard and hope to get a good result for them this weekend.
Chicago and Orlando City on the shores of Lake Michigan. As we invite you to turn off the world and turn on the game, we're playing for 3 points in the Eastern Conference. It is the Lions of Orlando City, and it is the men in red of Chicago Fire. Runs it through for Muriel, cuts it back beautifully. Danger here, and Muriel has it saved by Chris Brady. Zinchenko wins it back. Bamba running with him. Zinchenko hesitates, saved by Gillespie, and the follow-up from Kuiper, saved again by Gillespie. Goalkeeping at its very finest. That's flicked on by Ordahel, and Kuipers was on the doorstep and probably should have finished that off. Prowess has a blade as this is over the top for Bamba. He might be onside, but it's straight into Gillespie. This is in for Kuipers. Falls for Gutman, peels it back. It's Bamba, and saved by Gillespie again. Zinchenko on the follow-up. Here's McGuire over the top. Brady comes flying off of his line. It's a penalty, and let's see what color card. It is red for Chris Brady.
Final decision is direct free kick and red card.
It's backup goalkeeper Jeff Gall who's going to take Chris Brady's spot. And Jeff Gall is going to make his first ever appearance for the Chicago Fire. And you're going to have to sacrifice one of the most dynamic players on the field for the first 35 minutes of tonight's game. Joe Bamba is going to have to come off. McGuire leaves it for Angulo. Ivan Angulo now going for goal. Gall spills it. That's his first touch of the night. And his first touch for the Chicago Fire in a competitive setting. And that's going to do it for the first half. A 16-year-old starting at center back for Chicago now has the tall task of trying to keep the Lions at bay. Muriel helps it along. Angulo with a deft touch over the top. Ojeda takes it in stride, and it certainly had the interest of Jeff Gall. Now's that for skill from Zinchenko. And even still, this is incredible individual work. Philip Zinchenko taking soul from Orlando City. Outswinger from Zinchenko. Good-looking ball. Loose in front and saved by Gillespie. It's here again for Chicago after the giveaway. Zinchenko makes a man miss, going for goal. Gillespie makes the save again. Kuiper's on the follow-up, and Gillespie makes another save. Angulo through the legs of Cups. Martino, Ojeda, and it's off the post. Pasalic going for goal, and that's off the bar. And that's going to do it full time. 0-0 is the final score, and after giving up 7 goals in Nashville last weekend, Greg Berhalter's side survives and unbreached at home after going down a man late in the first half. Jeff Gall came in and made his Chicago Fire debut and not bothered by the moment. And Chicago pick up a point in some really precarious odds.
There's nothing more I could ask for. I mean, to be with my wife, parents here, my daughter, it means everything, man.
To be a man down after a red card and still walk away with a point, that's impressive. But what's really impressive, 16-year-old Christopher Kups making history as the youngest starter for the Chicago Fire, and Jeff Gall stepping in ice cold and delivering a clean sheet in his MLS debut. Congratulations, gentlemen. All right, that's a wrap. Make sure you guys stick with us all year long. We're not even halfway done with the season, so a lot more excitement yet to come. I'm Gabe Ramirez, and we'll see you next time right here on Inside the Fire.